Tusikubali kutenganishwa na siasa, tujirushe kwa mashimo, miaka 5, miaka 10, tuishi tukiregret kama watu wa Mount Kenya.
I listened to one of us argue that this country is likely to be taken to Paris, that we are likely to default and get payment. That is irresponsible statement.
The body I know, you should have foreseen that. You are an expert. By the time you are giving that commitment, Honorable Badi, those are things that would have been on your fingertips.
Nasikia Sifuna anaongea na nguvu. Wakati unaongea mambo yangu Sifuna, ujue mimi ndio mwanzilishi wa ODM. So naenda polepole kidogo.
Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi ndio Sifuna.
I think William Ruto is actually unfit for the position of President of the Republic of Kenya.
Bring politics into the military. And for your information, hiyo Ruto must go, si kusema ati atolewe ofisi kinyume ya sheria. No. Watu, there's a clarion call in preparation for the general election. Ruto atatolewa kikatiba na uchaguzi wa 2027.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for another amazing moment, another amazing episode. My name is Miss Eva Shadizo, and I will be hosting for tonight Political Open Forum show. And I want to welcome you humbly. Feel part and parcel of this as we are moving on swiftly. Please tell me on the comment section if you're getting me, and it will be good and it will be great so that I can also hear from you. And I'm ready to hear from you as you also hearing from me. This tonight we have a conversation, and one of the conversations that we're having tonight, we are checking about the stories of the issue of the day, thereby we'll be breaking out the deeds and the deed of the day. And apart from that one, we'll be checking out the headlines hitters of the day. And apart from the headline hitters, we'll check about also our government and what has inspired. I want to eat and also the breaking news. So thank you for the ones who are watching. Please invite somebody to watch with. The number of the voting is still limited a little bit, but I want to urge you or to ask you, please invite somebody to watch with so that we can watch together and we can move together as we are checking out this, because this is where home of everyone and this is where everyone belongs. I want to welcome you all, feel part and parcel of this as we are moving on swiftly. Welcome, and my name's Shadizo. And thank you for those who are watching. Please, I want to urge you as we are beginning up the discussion tonight. The discussion began on a tricky conversation whereby we will begin with the 5 people who got murdered due to some 2, 3, 4 effects. Watch one of the breaking out of the day. Apart from that one, we have a lot of today on my desk, whereby there's a lot of things that has happened tonight, and we'll be checking one after another. Okay, so parts of the thing that has happened tonight, 5 people are killed over a piece of land, which is one of the stories that we'll be checking out today. Kindiki is confessing, defending the country, and defending that our nation or Kenya Kwanza will protect every amount and make sure that every Kenyan get equal rights and get maendeleo every corner. So apart from that one, we'll be checking also other details that has been spoke about due the day as we are beginning out this another day, this amazing Tuesday. I know you are watching us and this is another amazing Tuesday in East African time. So I'll be checking more details about that and also checking about the story of police. This police stories has been hitting in the headline very soon, most of the day, because we're having such a communication whereby they're saying that there are some police have been eliminated from the police force from the GSU force because they are found guilty of corruption. Apart from that one, I'll be checking also the stories about, or many stories, a little bit. We have 2 or 4 stories that has been linking up with the police force. Also be checking out towards details for us that, and also checking more details towards our nation and what has been growing in up to. So I want to tell me in the comment section what is your opinion and what is your view about it, so that I can also have a communication and gratitude to see you. I see on the comment section the people are still beginning to join up, and welcome you all. From Team Facebook, I can see Team Facebook joining in, saying hey, Kemboy KE, thank you Kemboy for joining us, sharing the link of WhatsApp. Okay, thank you for those who will be joining up, and the link to join up the studio is on the comment section. Please use the link to join up the show and let us have the conversation together as you're moving on swiftly. Let me first begin with the analysis and the breakout of the day, because the day has been fun, gorgeous. This is how Luo says. The day has been flabbergasted with a lot of goodies and a lot of was tradings out. I know there's a lot of things trending out and a lot of things coming out, but let us check in more details towards what has been breaking out. Okay, I'll begin with one of the stories that has been getting out and hitting the nerve so much. And the story is all about the school kids. The story is claimed by the school kids are being sent home, which is something that's not right. And I'll say that if the school kids don't have the school fees, it's the responsibility of the teacher to call the parent, but not sending the student home, because this has caused a lot of calamity. One of the things that parents are complaining of, there are many students who are getting lost recently due to being sending home. There are other students who have been getting even to accidents because of just going home. Other students are getting into early marriages because when he's sent away, he gets the opportunity to go and stay in other places and then come back home later. Other students, even they have paid the school fee, but they get the opportunity to run away from school and go to hidings and don't attend the class while the parent knows that my student or my child is in the school. So that's also has been a matter of the day, and I will first want to check out that story so that I can hear your comments and I can hear your opinions too, because your opinion matters too. Also, I want to hear from you, and I want to hear from your comments and your opinions too about this story, because this story is one of the stories that has hit the headlines due to the week since yesterday and today. And when we check about the story of a school and whatever is going on, we see that is how serious things are on the ground. So I want to hear from you and to hear this from you. Let us watch this, and then we'll come to the agreement with you. Yeah.
Now, schools across the country reopened on Monday for the second term, but a familiar crisis is brewing. School heads are once again decrying the government's failure to release capitation funds on time. And as Mary Mwoki now reports, this funding delay is among reasons cited for additional levies charged to parents, a move that has sparked uproar from various stakeholders, with the Elimu Bora working group putting schools and the government on the spot for imposing what they term as illegal levies on parents for what ought to be free primary and junior secondary school education.
As the second term begins, school heads are raising the alarm. Despite classrooms filling up, government capitation remains an unrealized promise. Through their union KUPPET, school heads accuse the Ministry of Education of failing to disburse last term's capitation in full, a failure now pushing many institutions to the brink of a crisis. KUPPET says schools are running on fumes.
So far, the government has not found it prudent to pay the capitation to the schools. And yet when politicians talk, they talk about free education. Yet parents are supposed to pay some levies.
KUPPET says in order to keep schools running in the absence of government funding, head teachers are forced to impose additional levies on parents, a move they insist is necessary for survival. Nturima wants that without urgent interventions, basic functions will collapse.
Principals have no options, because if there is no food in school, that is a recipe for chaos. They will have to charge, because how do you run the schools? And when you close early, you are punished.
Parents are siding with school heads, urging the government to release funds promptly to avert disruption.
Serikali haipeani pesa yenye inatosha kwa shule. Yenye inapeana mwalimu mkuu akienda kupanga hata itoshi ya kununua elimu.
Wamepata shida sana kupata capitation kutoka kwa serikali. Serikali inakawia sana mpaka hata muhuri unaisha bila kutumana hii. Lakini hii ni shida ambayo inaletwa na serikali.
The Elimu Bora working group that specializes in education matters slammed schools for imposing illegal charges, but with capitation delays now a constant, school heads insist they are left with little choice. Mary Moki, Citizen TV.
That's what has been heating up for the schools, and that's what's trending out for the school. We're having a lot of conversation about what's going on in our school. I would like to just take more details to what's going on in school. And today, that's one of the reports that people have been speaking all about so much. I want to hear from you. What's your opinion too about this story and the story of about the schools? I see on the comment section Tony Muhammad saying hi Shadizo and everyone. Thank you. I hope we're getting the greetings from Tony, saying also let us like the video, let us share, let us like the video, let us share the video, and let us have the conversation together. Please let us join up the show, and it will be good and it will be better. Thank you for those who are still joining up. I want to hear from you and I want to listen from you. Please tell me on the comment section. I'll be also reading it today, and I'll be also checking more details towards that also. So I want to welcome you all. Feel free and feel part and parcel of this, because this is where you belong and this is home of everyone. And this is where everyone belongs. So I want to hear from you and from here every Kenyan the story about the school and the school fees. So I want to hear about it. Is it right to send kids home because of school fees, or we have another dimension or another things that we can use to do and to know that everything is intact without chasing our kids at home? The kids are being sending at home, they are being sent from school, going home. That is so bad. Because this, I'm telling you that the complaint is getting mad, is getting worse, is that they're saying that other kids, even at the time that they're going home, some get accidents on the way, others are being killed on the way, others are being kidnapped on the way while they are going at home. So those are the things and the consequences that they are being recently being faced with the kids who have been going to school. So tonight, Trevor Mbijo had a conversation with a little bit some panelists who had the conversation with Trevor. Briefly, let us check out this panelist and the analysis, and then I'll be reading the comments from the Kenyans on all about this story of the school and what is going around the school. Please use the link to join up the show so that we can have the conversation together. This is the conversation, and this is how the conversation has been. Let us check it out.
Why we did this survey is because of what we started observing, that there seems to be a number of children being pushed out of the system. And they're being pushed out at even very tender age. With the CBC coming in, every time that there's a transition, somehow we are losing these young ones. We are losing the children. And so we started by wondering what could be the contributing factors to this. And we focused on, can we look at the financial issues? And so for us, we cast our net because we did a survey on 370 schools countrywide. So the situation is almost the same everywhere. But some schools are actually making the problem to be so dire that you start wondering whether children within the catchment area would be able to afford. For instance, when you ask a parent to come with 15,000 to 25,000 on admission, where do you expect that parent to get the money? Many of the parents there, Mama Mboga parents, Baba Ugali, let me also call them like that. Many who are really struggling just to place Ugali on the table. But you're asking them to pay so much. But even before you reach there, I don't know whether our people, the public, should be made aware that within the framework that Kenyans themselves gave to govern themselves, that is the constitution of this country, they decreed and declared that education is a fundamental right, Article 43. That is Clause 1 F. Yeah. Article 53, Clause 1B, the right of the child to to free and compulsory basic education that's articulated, and the other legislations that have been made, the Children's Act 2022, because that was Children's Act 2001, revised 2022. You go to the Basic Education Act. Yeah. They are so specific, they don't leave any doubt as to what should be done. In fact, they place somebody in charge. They articulate that, that is Section 28 of the Basic Education Act, that the Cabinet Secretary has a responsibility to enforce the law and ensure that every child is in school and learning. That if there's to be any variation of that, if any levy or any payments is to be made, then that is a very small window that can happen, that can be done. That window is provided within the Section 29, Part 2D. Yeah. It provides that where a school has actually sat and realized that there's certain items, certain things which they seriously require. I'll give an example of, like the floods that happened. And then you realize that there's a school that really requires urgent intervention. The school can sit and then parents themselves agree that we want to intervene in such an area. When they do so, they must pass a resolution. It must be passed to the County Education Board, and it must go straight to the Cabinet Secretary. The Cabinet Secretary must consider how it is reasonable, whether it is reasonable. So that is not arbitrary. But if that doesn't happen, then it creates, unfortunately, our survey has indicated that that small window has now been opened into a big door. In fact, it has become a gate. I think that's what you were saying. It is now a floodgate. Anything and everything goes. Why am I saying so? Because even the areas which were protected, like no admission fee shall be charged. That is expressed in the law. They've sneaked that in.
Okay, I'll come back to you to continue explaining this. But let me bring in Okal here. As a parent, are you seeing any justification for these extra levies? And have you been explained to when you go to school that these are the extra levies for this particular purpose?
Trevor, thank you first of all for bringing me in and representing the parents. Being a Monday, you're doing your Monday reports, I would want to first of all tell the government, give them a report that parents are not happy. Parents are really yoked by the injustices that we are feeling that the government is doing against us. Because we as parents, we get to a point where we think and take actions concerning our children, because it is our responsibility as parents to see to it that our children are having their education as usual. But the government has failed us. You know, we expect the government to be giving out money that is in form of capitation. And when the government has failed to do so, or when they do and they lag a lot, like even right now, the capitation that was supposed to be done last term has not been done. And this leaves us in a position where we are asking ourselves, my child is my burden. What is the way forward for me? So in this case, as the schools are also struggling, then you're left with no option. The child is yours. What are you supposed to do? That is now when we get into agreements with the teachers, because these monies, they don't just collect them from nowhere. Mr. Ruto here has explained how it's supposed to be done. And when the school has not been receiving the money, I need my child to go to school. Education does not wait, Mr. Trevor. What am I supposed to do as a parent? So the government has failed me. I have a child to take to school. You have not given money. What option do I have? I pay tax as a parent. I am a mamboga, that one that was promised, that when we get to power, we are going to take care of these issues. then the welfare of my child is put at risk. What other option do I have? So it means that after paying the government taxes, and they're not doing me what I'm supposed to receive, they're not giving me what I'm supposed to receive, the services are not there. Then again, I have to go to my pocket so that my child can be taken care of. Ask yourself, why is it that you have never seen parents outside here coming to do the demonstrations that our children are not in school? It's because we have been forced now to take care of them in ways that are not supposed to be. The government has failed us. That is the truth. And I'm telling the government that as parents, we are not happy. We are watching. Remember, there was a time that the president said that wajinga waliisha Kenya. It is true. We are not stupid parents. Trevor, a majority of parents in this Kenya, the largest working force in Kenya, are teachers. So you can't tell me that these teachers are stupid. And these very teachers are the parents. So we are hurting. We are not happy. We need a change into these things. Policies have been put. These policies are going through a very poor oversight. So what options do we have? Remember, the child is mine. So I carry the burden, but with a very heavy heart.
We'll discuss that in just a bit, because there's an argument that, as much as the child is yours, then the responsibility comes back to you. But let's hear what Mr. Obuhat has to say, because you're the national chair of the Parents Association. What have you done to somehow intervene on this? It's not entirely your responsibility, but because you represent all the parents, is there any intervention measure that you've explored that seems to be effective?
Trevor, thank you very much. And my colleagues, Boaz, and my parents, these are parents, and they are talking.
True.
And I represent them in the government. Now, Trevor, the issue here is what you hear them saying, that what is the cause of this calamity? Where is it coming from? Before a principal collects money from parents, there should be a reason why he's doing or she's doing that. Because they are called illegal levies. And the reason being, the way the monies are collected from parents, the procedure is not to be the way it's being done. When I'm sitting here, Trevor, this is a circular from the PS that I'm carrying, and I have to show you. It is here, and you can see this circular. This is the circular which was released after I spoke to the former PS, Belio Sang, about issues of extra levies being levied on parents illegally by school managers. And the PS released a circular on the 8th of February 2023, because I took over the office in 2022, August. And the circular clearly states here in Regulation 44 of the Basic Education Act 2013 that no institution is allowed to levy any extra payments on parents other than what has been levied in the CS circular, which is the school fees structure given to the public. So besides that, any other form of payments that are being asked from parents could be termed illegal, first, if the parents themselves are not involved. We have instructed that where levies of the children parents, the school management boards, the PTS must sit and come up with a very good answer that during the AGM, they have to give the parents, tell them, we need to buy a glass of water, which is 5,000 shillings. As parents, we are 200 parents here. If each parent gave just 10 shillings, we can afford this money. And then the parents vote and agree. Parents must agree that we can do that. If the parents have not agreed, if this matter has not come to the AGM, and here it is now, parents are getting separate fee structures to pay. That is where this issue of illegal levies are coming in. The second point, you cannot levy parents to pay because capitation funds have delayed. What happens when these capitation funds are now released to the schools? Do the principals refund back the money to the parents? Because when wamekopa pesa wazazi, they have borrowed money from the parents. In other words, you can just say like that.
They should pay with interest.
So they pay the interest. They pay. It has happened for several years. Do you know how much money the schools owe parents in terms of refunding? We should be asking the government to have the principals that collect money from parents illegally, refund the money with the interest. We should be seeing heads rolling with the TSC taking action. Because in this circular here, it says clearly, and let me read, Sub-county directors of education have been instructed to visit all their schools in their jurisdictions to establish whether students are being sent away due to unauthorized levies, and afterwards report such cases for administrative action by and received by 10th of February 2023.
Yeah.
This is a policy matter, authority from the government, given to the public. So the question also comes, how many parents have gone to the police stations and reported that we have been charging extra levies as evidence, as much as they are saying that the principals are charging them money? How many parents have come to my office to complain officially that we have been charging this money? You see that kind of scenario?
Yeah.
So for me to come out and speak about this, I want to thank Boaz and his team for bringing out this or uttering this. I would call this an earthquake that is affecting parents.
Okay.
And we are here today.
Yeah.
We want the government to understand that parents have been misused.
Okay.
Just because they are lenient.
Okay.
And as a parent, I will not want to see my child in the house because I cannot pay 200 shillings that has gone. As I finish on this point, the other issue is this. In school boards of management and even some principals, they are doing purchasing or they are doing supply to their own schools. So, and they use different names. They use different companies to supply.
So there's also
I'm a principal.
Yeah.
I'm supplying my own school, but my name is Okala.
Okay.
And the company.
Okay.
So I will have to use all means to have parents pay so they can recover my money.
Okay. And Waruku, you know, earlier on, Nturima, who's the Deputy Secretary General for KUPPET, was saying that principals have no option. They have no choice. Schools are opened, capitation fee has not come in, food has to be there because, in fact, his words was, if you don't have food in schools, it's a recipe for chaos. Does he have a point that sometimes the head teachers really don't have a choice?
Thank you very much, and thanks that the unions are speaking. I wish that all of them could speak with one accord. And when they speak, they should speak what actually should be the right thing to be done, not coping mechanisms. And indeed, my brother Buhatsa told you, there's no way where you can just decide because I'm hungry, you just go and raid somebody's shop or fish den, whatever it is, because you want to feed yourself. Levying illegal charges on the parents is akin to stealing from them, obtaining from them money, using those false pretenses. And indeed, that is where our unionists should be coming out and asking, because I know in the past they have talked about capitation and other remittances to the schools. They have negotiated in the past with the government. You remember there's a formula in existence of the 50% term 1, 30% term 2, and 20% term 3. Compliance with that arrangement has been very difficult for the government to meet. But also, I don't know the kind of consistency of piling pressure and reminding the government to do its bit, because in delivering of education, all the stakeholders have got a responsibility to do. So, Trevor, the question you're asking me would make me now bring this into a wider context and actually indicate that the leaders that are supposed to help address this situation actually know that it exists. It's a problem. Right from the topmost, the president himself. In fact, I remember early last year, 2024, the president did talk about illegal charges and directed that no such charges should continue. But you see, just verbal talks without concrete action, that's political rhetoric without concrete action does not help. Maureen is telling you, as a parent who sees the child coming back home all the time, that is a problem. And that is why maybe some of them quickly look for what means do we do. They even go and sell animals. Even some deliver firewood so that it is quantified in terms of money. So why that is happening when the president knows, the cabinet secretary, one rule, one basic responsibility given to the cabinet secretary by the Basic Education Act and the principal secretary is to enforce the law as is, those regulations, ensure that people comply, that there are no other charges which are being created, and that the remittances to the schools are done in time so that the BOMs and the school administrators plan with this money well ahead. Actually, today, you'd be informed that even the capitation for term 1 has not been concluded, has not been remitted to the schools, all in total, and yet we are in term 2. Why is that happening? It's because poor planning is happening somewhere. I think when that is reorganized, we probably would be having a much better publicly organized education or school system in Kenya. And the parents would, that load which is being placed on their back would be uplifted a little.
All right. And Onokal, there was a challenge that was brought to you by Muhatsa when he was finishing his submissions, that how many of you actually speak out as parents. And you also mentioned that the government has been giving you a lot of injustice. But how much responsibility do you take as parents that this is my child, and there are certain things that I may want to be provided for in school that may not really fall within the regular spectrum? One of them that I'm sure you've seen is the remedial fees. Remedial fees is almost in every other fee structure that exists. Their argument is that this is the extra lessons or extra teaching that we give to the students beyond what is required by the Teacher Service Commission. Does that make sense to you? And how many times have you actually reported and taken responsibility as parents and said this is happening and action should be taken?
Mr. Trevor, may I also ask you a question?
It doesn't work. I'm going to ask the question. You just give the response.
Because you are a parent. You are a parent, and this is the reason I'm bringing the question. And I would also want my colleagues here to respond to the same. What is it? What is this that is there that we need to use as an evidence that should hinder a parent from taking responsibility? Mr. Baz called it a coping mechanism. It is very clear. Your child is in school, or our children are in school. The Kenyan child is in school. And at school, the money that the government is supposed to remit has not been remitted. And therefore, the head teachers are crying. It is evident. The head teachers are crying, and even sometimes thinking of closing down the schools, which of course they cannot do because parents do not see the need of those schools to be closed. So do you expect me to go to a police station to report that I've been asked for this or that? I can't. What I'll do, I've told you that my child is my responsibility. If the government has put up laws and said that this kind of money is not supposed to be paid, the admission fees, they're all put in the policies. I've been told that they're not supposed to happen. And then the same government has also given a window that in such a circumstance, parents are supposed to come together and agree. So what am I supposed to do, or what are we supposed to do as parents of that school or as parents in Kenya? We look for coping mechanisms. And this is where the government also takes advantage, because they know they hold the money. After they've held the money, they know that these parents are going to do the same. But it doesn't matter, because even when we make noise, the PS will come and tell us that money has been remitted. It is done by word of mouth, but on the ground, the money never goes to those schools. And if they come late. And again, if they come, they don't come as it has been planned. Okay. So one thing that I want to tell you is that this nation, Mr. Trevor, has very great minds. But these great minds are deliberately putting Kenya down. They are suppressing the welfare of a Kenyan child. I've gone around schools, of course not all, but many, because we do initiatives concerning the welfare or the well-being or the welfare of the children. Yeah. And we realize that these children go through so much. You can imagine, I am told that I'm not supposed to pay the levies. That money is not there, meaning that I have to sit with my child at home. Yeah. When I sit with my child at home, so many things are stopped. Worse enough, if this child is in school and has been sent to come back for the school fees, there are so many dangers, so many vulnerabilities to this child. This is where we lose our children to early marriages. This is where we lose them to rape cases. This is where we lose our children to drug abuse. This is where we lose our children to maybe even accidents, because some of them get down by borders. They get knocked down by borders, and then you're told, come for your child who has been hit by maybe a hit and run, motor, whatever. And we get to have these children suffer so much.
Okay.
So the government has made laws that the government itself is not protecting. So I am boldly saying as a mother that it is the government that is hurting our children.
Okay.
The government is pretending to have given policies. They are not protecting those very policies. So it is the government abusing our children.
Okay.
If they take tax from us, just 1 minute, they are supposed to give us
the services.
The services.
Okay.
The reasons they took the taxes.
Right.
Yes.
Fair point.
Trevor, may I ask another question so that the president of the National Parents Association can answer at the same time? Because what we are discussing here still boils down to, do we have the money adequate to cater for all these things, which make it possible now for the teachers to start saying we don't have it and go. Do we have that money? And if we do, has the National Parents Association with the unions sat even with the cabinet secretary at that level long before the schools reopen, not waiting until the schools reopen is when people start jostling here and there? Because I know, as for now, the budget that was there, the 636 billion that was given to education for 2024, 2025, it's coming to an end. Not all of it has been remitted. What do they actually do to ensure that that money gets to the school? And indeed, other wastages that we keep on seeing, because it is also a matter of how prudently do we utilize those resources. So maybe you could be able to help us. Sorry to ask you a question. And
Thank you, my team. I would say this. First of all, the Basic Education Act 2013 allows parents to participate in issues that go towards funding schools' activities. For example, the capitation fund does not cater for boarding and lunch, for example. Parents have to meet those costs. But we are saying the problem here could be the procedure. That are they involved in the first place? Secondly, we may not blame the government, because I've shown you the circular and it's here and I can give it to you to read if you want to read. This is a circular from the government. This is a matter of policy. And this is a serious matter that anybody collecting money from parents without authority is committing an offense. So here, parents have roles to play. For example, if the school does not have a fence or a gate, the school board or the PTA has authority to call parents, discuss that, and share the responsibilities that this school does not have a gate, there are people trespassing the compound. And to stop this, as parents, we have our role to play. We can contribute money and do the fencing of the school. We have done the costing as the board, and this is the amount we require, is 3,000, and each parent paying 10 shillings is not an offense. And they have to vote and agree. I've said that. Now, the problem is that when the parents agree to pay 3,000, the 3,000 is multiplied by 20 million. And it's divided among the parents. It was 3,000, but now
3 billion.
It's now 3 billion.
3 billion Kenya shillings.
That the parents have to go to meet and pay. It was 3,000. And the parents will go back and ask, why are we being asked to pay 20,000 for the fence when it was 3,000? If they ask, an enmity arises between the school management and the parents, and the revenge goes back to the students.
So after agreement, there's also blackmail.
Yes, so the parents retreat. As much as they are willing to support, they fear. Because now the figure has been inflated. We go and ask, is your child who suffers? So the parent retreats.
So what is the solution?
Secondly, let me come to this point. There is no head teacher who is allowed to dare send a child out of a school compound when the child has just crossed from the public fence outside to the school perimeter wall inside that is protected.
And yet it happens.
And it happens.
It happens all the time.
I'm the chair of parents.
Yeah.
I work in towns. I was in Kisumu. And I met children in the streets walking during school days. And I asked them, why are you here? And they said, we have been sent home because of school fees. Trevor, who pays school fees? The children or the parents? There's technology. My phone is here. Why can't the principal pick a phone and call my mother to school? Must I go home? Students have ended up in wrong hands, as my parent is saying. They are sent for fees at home. They are married by force, by people on the way. It happens. Students have gone into accidents to an extent of some even losing their lives, parents losing. And you'll find that this child who is losing life was going to bring 500 shillings. Do you compare 500 shillings to a whole life of a human being?
So what is the solution now as the child?
Now, the solution comes here. The blame is that capitation funds are delayed. Do the principals understand why capitation funds are delayed by the government? Have they ever questioned? Trevor? I was in Mombasa with the former DP, the vice president, Honorable Gachagua, during the second school heads conference. And I asked him to explain to me, as the chair of parents, why capitation funds are delayed. And he explained, as a government officer, and told me, we don't.
This is what is cooking in political open forum show. And that's what is it. I've seen that the commitment and what's being spoken all about, saying that this is what is being done, supposed to be done, this is what is supposed to be done. We will be checking that so that I want to hear from you and your opinions too, because they matter to me too, as we stay it all down. Let us check out this as we are moving on swiftly, because everything is systematically one at a time. Let's check out this.
Now, human rights organizations are now demanding the arrest of security officers exposed as the killers of 3 young people during the invasion of parliament during the June 25th Gen Z protests last year. A BBC documentary has identified 3 officers, naming one specifically as having taken part in the brutal murders near parliament at the height of the Anti-Finance Bill 2024 demonstrations. And as Brenda Wanga now reports, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says that the government will issue an official response to the documentary's revelations on Tuesday.
Was there any reason to spill blood on the grounds of Kenya's parliament? The BBC documentary, Blood Parliament, picks out security officers believed to have instructed officers to kill, as well as those who pulled the trigger and killed 3 young men as the anti-government protests peaked in June last year.
That one will be coming up totally on the next episode, so please don't go away. That one is cooking and is coming for the next part or the next show. They don't go away. So when I tell you that today we're having the other dimension, we've been having segment, one from segment to another, and another to another. Let us check out these
investigations. Anyway, from that, all National Police Reservists, that's the NPR, operating in the banditry-plagued Kerio Valley will undergo fresh vetting before resuming their duties. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, while giving the orders in a security meeting with regional commanders, revealed that there were reports suggesting that some NPR officers had been collaborating with criminal elements. Citizen TV's Ben Kirui reports from Elgeyo Marakwet.
After nearly 6 hours of deliberations with top security officials, including Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen announced that there would be a fresh vetting of National Police Reservist NPR. The decision follows concerns that some reservists drawn from local communities have been collaborating with bandits, working with police by day and aiding criminal elements by night.
Tumepata habari ya kwamba kuna watu wanafanyia kazi NPR, lakini mchana wanajiita NPR, lakini wanapambana na wako upande moja na majangili na mabandits. Kwa sababu hiyo tumesema we want to do a revetting of all the NPR officers. Na hiyo revetting tutafanya in an organized manner.
The Interior CS also announcing a raft of reforms aimed at tightening security operations. Among them is the establishment of a clearer command structure, requiring all NPR officers to report directly to station commanders. As part of additional measures to bolster security in high-risk areas, Murkomen revealed that chiefs who have undergone paramilitary training and whose safety is deemed to be under serious threat will now be eligible for firearm licenses.
Tunaanza shughuli mara moja ya kujaza wale NPR ambao wameondoka ama wamekufa. Hiyo process starts from Monday na itaongozwa na chief kwa ground.
But even as the CS made efforts to deal with the insecurity in the area, a woman was shot and killed, while 3 people sustained injuries after bandits attacked a convoy which was heading to Marigat from Tangul Bay in Baringo County. The attack at Moinonin comes a week after 2 other people were killed in Loberer along the same highway.
Now that problem has now mutated. Imetoka mambo ya kuibiana ng'ombe, sasa ni kupigania boundaries ya one constituency to another, one community to another, na imeenda pia kwa economic sabotage na robbery, highway robbery. Iyo, we are fully seized of that issue and we will deal with it decisively.
The high-level meeting held at the Chesongoche Sisters facility in Elgeyo Marakwet County brought together senior security officials and national government administrative officers and GAOs.
So that's what I've been cooking with the police force. When I tell that, I'll bring up the story of the police force. See, this is so serious. If we are doing like this, or if we are having such like things that happening inside the police force, and we are supposed to be going there for the security, this is so weird and it's so sad. So please let us try to be careful, even if we are working with, because if the police are being accused of being corrupted and using the money wrongly, this is so serious. It is not just a simple allegation. This is a very serious allegation whereby we need to check out into it and condemn for everyone that is doing like that. And then I'm asking, how do you think this will be achieved? And how do you feel like, even if there was really saying that they're supposed to do A, B, C, D, how will it be achieved? How do you spot that this police is corrupt, this one is not corrupt? Just give me your opinion and let me listen to you, because this is so serious. This is so serious. If we can be living in a nation whereby we can be dying, having a commotion, having been threatened, and that is it. That is too bad. Okay, let us drop that. Let us check about one of the headlines of the day, whereby 5 people are killed, and also other just being detained inside the hospital due to eruption that was come up today inside somebody's field. Let us check out this.
Watu 5 wamepigwa risasi na kuuawa na maafisa wa usalama kwenye zogo lililozuka eneo la Ang'ata Barikoi, kaunti ya Narok, kufuatia mzozo wa shamba. Mzozo huu uliosababishwa na ardhi ya ekari 6,000 ulisababisha watu wengine 10 wakiwemo maafisa wa GSU kujeruhiwa. Na kama anavyotuarifu Crispin Otieno, hali imesalia tete kutwa nzima kufuatia mzozo huu.
Ndivyo hali imekuwa Ang'ata Barikoi Jumatatu. Maandamano yaliyoanza asubuhi na wakazi wa eneo hili la Transmara Kusini ikigeuka kuwa uwanja wa vita. Watu 5 wakipigwa risasi na maafisa wa polisi wakati wa vurumai hiyo. Miili ya 5 hao ikipelekwa katika hospitali ya Ang'ata.
Live bullets kwa wananchi ya Kenya. Sisi ni wenyeji wa Kenya hii, na shamba ni yetu, na tuwezi toka katika hii eneo. Watu wanawawa bure. Akia Mungu, watu wanawawa bure kwa shamba yao.
Mtoto mmoja kwa pamoja na vijana hawa wawili wakiwa miongoni mwa walionusurika kifo kwa tundu la sindano kupitia mtutu wa bunduki.
Sisi tulikuwa tunapalilia. Kidogo kidogo tunasikia mlio wa risasi. Kidogo kidogo watu wameanza kupigwa ovyo.
Ni maofisa tu wa serikali, sababu hatukuwaona ni akina nani, lakini sikuwaona ni akina nani, lakini niliona tu ni watu wa serikali ndio walitupiga marisasi.
Kulingana na examinations ambazo tumeweza kufanya,
no wamepoteza maisha kulingana na kufucha damu kwa wingi.
Hali ikiwa mbaya zaidi katika hospitali hii pale wananchi waliojawa na ghadhabu wakitaka kuwakabili maafisa wa GSU waliojeruhiwa kwa mauaji ya wapendwa wao. Na mahali ingali tete katika eneo hili la Ang'ata Barikoi, wananchi waliojawa na ghadhabu wanasema kwamba baada ya watu 5 kupigwa risasi na kuuawa na kuletwa hapa, wanasema kwamba watazidi kufanya maandamano kufuata haki yao na vile vile kuhakikisha kwamba shamba hilo limesalia kwa wenyeji ambao wamekuwa wakiishi kwa takriban zaidi ya miaka 30.
In Kenya sisi wakimbizi.
Kufuatia hali hii, magari ya maafisa wa Wizara ya Ardhi yakichomwa wakati huo. Wenyeji wakiachwa na maswali chungu nzima kushinda majibu kuhusu utata wa ardhi katika eneo hili la mpaka wa jamii ya Kipsigis na Wamasai, Kuria na...
That was happening also today. We have seen it, the conflict and the killing of the people. That's so sad. Please, tell me your opinion, tell me your views too. What do you think also about that? What do you think about that as you're moving on swiftly? That's also serious. I will do the last video of the first segment, then we'll be joining up the second segment. This is what has wrapped up as we are going up.
Now, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has assured Kenyans that no part of the country will be left out in the Kenya Kwanza economic agenda of transformation. Speaking on Monday during his development tour of Samburu County as he commissioned the Maralal municipality market that cost the taxpayers 73 million shillings, DP Kindiki said that every part of the country will benefit from key development projects aimed at transforming the lives of all Kenyans. Earlier on, Kindiki inspected the progress of the construction of Yamo Dam. The project is expected to ease water access to Maralal town and its environs on completion. The Deputy President said that the Rumuruti power substation is being hastened to boost electricity supply in Maralal town and the environs to avert frequent outages.
That's what Kindiki has spoke all today, and I'll be listening to you. So what's your opinion and what is your comment? Please put your comment down in the comment section. I'll also be checking out of the poll question. Please vote, and it'll be good and be great for me having you here. Please, coming up, I want you to hear from you and to hear from your opinions too, to hear from your part also, because also you matters a lot, and I would like to listen to each and every one of you. So put the comment in the comment section, and I'll be good so that I can hear from you and I can listen again from you and again. I love you, people. Let us move on swiftly as we are checking out this analysis and the growth of the day. I don't have much to speak today, but to have the conclusion of what do we supposed to do, or how do we supposed to handle things. So that's one thing I'll be leaving you with as we are going on to the next level, because we still have a lot to do and we still have a lot to discuss on board. So I welcome you. Let us discuss this, all of us on board.
You are watching Sound Candy Talk live.
Marriage is one of life's most monumental decisions. It's not just about the wedding day or the ring. It's about committing your heart, mind, and soul to a lifelong partnership. But here's the big question. Are you really ready? Introducing Are You Marriage Ready? By Bernard Ngozi, a transformative ebook designed to guide you in building a successful and fulfilling union. This essential resource delves deep into personal growth, compatibility assessment, and the true meaning of marriage beyond the fairy tale. Learn how to reflect on your values, develop emotional resilience, and evaluate your relationship to ensure compatibility. This book opened my eyes to areas I needed to work on and helped me see my relationship in a new light. Jessica M. Available now for just $5, Are You Marriage Ready? Is accessible on all major platforms. Don't miss this opportunity to prepare yourself for one of life's most beautiful journeys. Follow the link in the description below to download your copy now. Empower your future. Embrace a fulfilling marriage now.
So that was cooking. Let us round up with this story as we are moving on swiftly together.
We have to wait for the 2 weeks. But that does not give an excuse to the principals to send children at home.
Yeah.
You see this? So the government is looking for a solution, but the children are on the roads. Why are they on the roads? In this, Boaz has questioned this. Has the government ever sat with the Parents Association? I'm the chair. And with the chair or the president of the secondary school heads association, primary school heads association on the same table and shared this issue of these school funds? We have not. Personally, I have not seen that.
Okay.
We are asking the government to go in that direction.
Yeah.
If the capitation funds are going to delay and fail to reach school on time, we want the secondary school heads and primary school heads invited and other stakeholders, even 2 or 4 parents, to sit in and hear this.
All right.
That the capitation funds will be delayed, but at the end of the day will be paid. Don't send children at home. Now the question is, how do we feed the children?
Yeah.
How do you do what? Feed the what? The children. If parents are willing to carry maize and take to school, why should the school heads demand for money? Hard cash. Their parents want to take food to school to support. Their parents want to take fire to school and support. There are those who can even sort the chicken at home and take to school.
Yeah.
But the principals will say, we want hard cash. Why do they want hard cash? Secondly, on which account is this money put? Do you have those accounts tabled before the AGMs for the parents to see that this is the money that was collected for this term, and this is what we spent, and this is the balance? Parents, can we decide on how to go with this balance?
Yeah.
Is it done? It's not done.
It's not happening. Okay.
So,
yeah.
The last point. Do parents have information? Do they have access to information? Like now, this is critical information that parents should be having. So the government should strive to work with the National Parents Association to have parents on these things that are very sensitive, like these ones.
Okay.
They must understand school meetings.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you go to school meetings, you'll find there are house girls and groundsmen and female parents only in the meetings. Male parents don't go to the meetings. Now, when it comes to the issue of now paying the funds, they are saying that there are extra levies.
Yeah.
Now there is the voice. But they never go to meetings.
Okay.
So parents must attend the meetings.
There's a lot of feedback coming through, and we're also pressed for time. So let's read some feedback, and then I'll give you each just a minute for closing remarks because we're running out of time, and I know you have something to say. Let's bring up the feedback really quick and see what you're saying at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Monday Report. Gabi says, I'm the victim here. Some teachers used to go to the extent of checking our pocket. And if he found enough to purchase ream papers, he would forcefully make the purchase. He didn't care whether it was school fees or pocket money. Parents are being robbed blind with these reams of printing papers, motivation fee and remedials fee. This is lining pockets of greedy prince of capitation funds, and even when disbursed, not all the amounts reach school accounts. How then are schools expected to run effectively? Sympathize with the principals. Don't blame them. Okay. Kate Best says most of those extra levies are discussed and passed in AGMs and academic days. Parents unanimously agree to boost programs that have been set up by schools in order to achieve success. I now wonder why they are disgruntled. Mwaniki even says that when education becomes a transaction between desperate parents and opportunist officials, the dream of national progress dies. Delayed capitation and illegal levies are twin scandals Kenya must confront. Kane says, please do not ask parents to report such cases to the police or education officials. The intimidation that follows for children of such parents in those schools stinks to the high heaven. Jim says the illegal levies being condemned is actually supported by parents themselves. They are the ones who pass the monies and are mostly for extra classes for early mornings, evenings, and weekends. If parents depend on 8 to 4 classes, the list will fail terribly. Sir Nixon says, yes, basic education, primary and secondary school is free in Kenya, but only on paper or policies. For ground, mambo ni very different. CS education, go to the ground, and if you want information, provide an SMS or toll-free line. Waruku, closing remarks, and you heard the sentiments of the people.
Tusikubali kutenganishwa na siasa, tujirushe kwa mashimo, miaka 5, miaka 10, tuishi tukiregret kama watu wa Mount Kenya.
I listened to one of us argue that this country